Today we're looking at the best revolvers I have 3D printed this year. We'll start with the Venom, and be noted that these are all toys made out of hollow plastic. This thing is insane. It's over-engineered by the original designer, but it's incredible. I did put this bit on backwards, thanks to a commenter who figured that out, because things didn't quite fit when I got to the final part of the build, and that was the reason. And also in the description below, you'll find links to all of these models we're going to be showing off today. They're all free to download and print off by yourself. But be warned, this one is one of my favorites, but it's also one of the more complex ones. The next one we're going to talk about is the Webley. This one is kind of crazy. It's from an entirely different era, so it's made very differently, and it was actually more educational to print this off and put it together because it realized how different modern day stuff is compared to this, and it's also got really nice fidgety elements to it. Next up, we've got the Malorian Overture from the video game Cyberpunk 2077. And be noted, you might know this by a different name in the game because developers actually changed the name with an update. And this thing was incredibly impressive because only 2 parts get glued. The rest of it, amazingly, is pressure fitted together, and it is just so much fun to build and assemble this. There's also a bunch of moving parts, and it just looks really good. Next up, we have the Prototype 1. So 3D Workbench made this, and it's completely fictional, so it doesn't appear in games or movies or anything like that. They just made something for the heck of it. So this one I actually printed off. I customized it with my own logo, and it's just really good. The construction is so fun, and it's quite easy to overall print. And then we have another one by the same designer, and this is sensational. So the best thing about this one is it is super easy to print. There's only a few parts total, and it goes together and makes this massive thing. I wish I had this when I was a kid, because I think it's the peak of what a toy could be. And it just looks great. There's not really much to it. There's one spinning part. The rest of it's completely stationary. And out of all the ones we looked at today, this is, I think, the best for a brand new person to 3D printing. And now we're going to move on to the Helldivers universe. So this thing is massive. It's a huge chunk of plastic when you put the whole thing together, but it's not as satisfying. It has some cool elements. Things flick out, things move around. It also has some nice springs, so you can actually feel some resistance, but it's not really got the satisfying element that it could have. So overall, I'd say this is a very good show-off piece and visual piece, but I wouldn't mess with it much. It really doesn't have the satisfying elements that sometimes when I've got something I like to flick it around and things like that. This, not so good for that, but it does look absolutely gorgeous, relatively simple to 3D print as well, and quite good to assemble. Overall, design is incredible. Original designer here has done an amazing job, and it is wonderful. And then we've got the Rose hand cannon, which I printed in rose filament. So this is from Destiny 2, and this thing is so satisfying to hold. Like, just looking at it is gorgeous. And the designer as well has done a kind of 2-cylinder setup, so when you spin this, it is so satisfying, and it spins really well. It lacks details you might expect on other things, but I don't think you need them. To me, I'm looking for the more satisfying actions and stuff, and it's just really nice. But this one is complex to build, so you can build the rear half and the front half really simply, but putting them together is a pain in the ass, and you really have to follow the instructions to get it right. I've got a full build video if you want to look at how I put it together, but it's not the easiest to assemble. But anyway guys, that's a quick look at the best revolvers that I've 3D printed this year and assembled. Of course, they're all plastic hollow toys, and some of them are beautiful just for display pieces. Some of them are kind of fidgety. You can mess around with the different parts that move, and it just feels nice to play around with them and hold them. And then you've also got the ones that are both, where they're incredibly good to look at and fidget with. And all of them have their advantages and disadvantages, because some are easy to 3D print, some are super simple to assemble, and some are complex to assemble. But you'll find on this channel a whole bunch of build videos for all of these, where I go ahead and make them all, and I do run into issues, and the great thing about those videos is I can tell you what those issues are, so that hopefully then you avoid the same problems, making your 3D prints even better, and hopefully avoiding any of the major issues I run into. But I will say that the designers of all this stuff are doing better and better work over time. It's incredible how everyone is getting really good at making this stuff and making all the tolerances incredible. Some of them have like 3D printed springs in them now. And it's just incredible how the technology is advancing, and making these toys and fidget things are so much fun.